Delta made you reconsider making the vaccine mandatory?
No, it has not. It is a considerable step to require someone to be vaccinated. And so we've long said that a blanket compulsion for people is not something that we have considered. We believe that we can talk about the vaccine on its merits, the difference that it makes to people's lives, their health, their livelihood, without taking that extraordinary step.
Dating back to at least the 17th, the principal architect of the Ministry of Health had been designing a COVID vaccination certificate system. And on the 20th, the Ministry of Health was briefed about this system and were briefed about the COVID vaccine certificates for large-scale events. On the 21st, they had a revised meeting about it. And then on the 24th, she was sent an entire draft proposal for how the app would look and how it would interlink with other systems. Now, if there was going to be no way that people needed to have mandatory vaccination, why on earth would this system exist, and why would it have been designed as far back as potentially April, according to this Official Information Act request? The document talks about two key things being the driving force behind vaccine certificates. A, transmission, but B, it talks about encouraging people to get vaccinated. This was going to be a stepping stone and a link to the Digital Identity Trust Framework, a piece of legislation that hadn't even passed its second or third readings, and it hadn't had the submissions heard by the public either. You may be wondering what the Digital Identity Trust Framework is that they reference this COVID pass being a stepping stone into. Now, the Digital Identity Trust Framework is a really interesting bill, and it does have a lot of corresponding information in there to people's concerns, and part of it is that it allows the control of our banking system. As you know, a lot of the ATMs around New Zealand have been closed. They're talking about going more into a cashless society, and unlike current cryptocurrency forms like Bitcoin and Ethereum, where it's non-centralized and the people own it, they're wanting to create a centralized banking system. Now, the G7 recently were talking about this, and they said that a centralized banking system, digital currency, a centralized digital currency would allow for things such as items to be bought that were government approved. What would it look like to get government disapproved? What if you spoke up and you said, hey, Jacinda may have lied to us about something, and they could shut off your banking like that? If they didn't bring in the COVID-19 vaccination certificates, I'm not sure how they would have managed to bring in the digital identity framework. The only thing I can think of is that they would have brought it in alongside a cashless society, phased out money, and made it that the only way that you can get access to your funding is if you go through this digital system. They definitely have used this as an opportunity to further the digital identity trust framework, and they have brought it in under the guise of just COVID-19 vaccination. Because what do you do when you want someone to do something that they've never done before? You've got to implement it in very small steps. You can't just go and change the entire process of something that they've been doing their entire life. And that's what we've seen with the COVID-19 certificates. It's got everyone online, it's got everyone digitalized, it's got them happy with segregation. And it's got them very, very, very compliant with the government's wishes. All of these things would not have happened in 2017. Not like that, and not with the majority of the population. But under the guise of health and safety, they've managed to push it through and create an incredibly compliant society. If the 24th was meant to be the first time that Jacinda had heard about it, you know, at the earliest apparently, then why was the MOH doing briefings on it on the 20th, the 21st, and why had discussions been in place since April? These are all questions that we the people need more answers to and deserve more answers to.